Alright, Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition Moo Review. Welcome everybody to the video. This movie is one that I have mixed feelings about. There are things that I really like about it, and then there are things that I really hate about it. It makes it very confusing to give it an absolute grade because there are things that are just so good about it, but other things that are just not good about it at all. I really want to like it, but I can't give it the grade that I would like to give it. Let me go over some of the things that I like about this movie first off, then I'm going to go over my criticisms. So, one thing that I really like about it, it's basically the first half of the movie is really good, and while I was watching it, by the way, this is the Ultimate Edition, not the original theatrical cut. The Ultimate Edition is 3 hours and 3 minutes long. I don't know how long the theatrical cut was, but I don't think it was anywhere near that long. But while I was watching this movie, during the first half of it, probably the first hour and a half about, it was really good, and I was really surprised at how good it was because while I watched this movie in the theaters, I don't remember it being quite as good. The first part of the movie is basically like a political kind of drama between Batman and Superman. It's building up the character motivations for why they dislike one another, and I think that it's really well done with the political aspect of having a being that could kill the entire planet if he wanted to, and all of the problems that that being would cause in the world of politics. I think that it was really cool. There were a lot of really cool shots with a good soundtrack to it as well. The cinematography was great. The casting choice for Batman and Superman is great. They're both really good actors, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. I think that they were great casting choices for these characters, and they play them really well. Seeing more of the Clark Kent side of Superman and his interactions, him sharing his thoughts with Lois Lane, I thought that those scenes were really good. I thought that the Batman background scenes were really good. There were a lot of scenes that, although they don't actually give him an origin in this movie, which I think was really good because the Batman origin scene is kind of overdone, although they do show the alleyway scene where his parents are murdered. They only show it briefly and they don't stretch it out to be like 20 minutes long. But we actually get a lot of background on this version of Batman, and it shows the way that he thinks, and the way that he thinks is actually, justified by exploring his character so much. You can see why he thinks the way that he does and why he thinks that Superman should not exist. So yeah, overall, I really liked the first half of the movie. It was really well done, and I was thinking that this movie was going to be like an A minus or maybe even an A. I don't know, but I was thinking some crazy things in my head when I was watching the first half of this movie, and I was thinking to myself like, wow, this is just so good, but now let's move on to some of the things that I don't like about this movie. One thing that I don't like about it is the casting choice for Lex Luthor. Now, I forgot the actor's name. I think it's Jesse something, but I think that he's a good actor. I really like him in Zombieland, but I just don't see him being Lex Luthor. I mean, Lex Luthor is somebody who's an egomaniac. He's somebody who is sophisticated, he's classy, and yeah, like he's an egomaniac. He's a genius, but I mean, this version of Lex Luthor was more like the Riddler or the Joker, kind of. I mean, he just seemed crazy, and he was acting like a lunatic, and that's not how Lex Luthor acts. Lex Luthor is a calculated villain. He's not somebody who acts like a lunatic. So I really didn't like the Lex Luthor character. The casting choice actually, I mean, like, I don't think that he was a good choice to play Lex Luthor, but I mean, he still could have at least acted like Lex Luthor. He didn't even act like him. But yeah, I just didn't like the Lex Luthor character at all. I thought that it was bad. Something else I didn't like about this movie very much at all was Superman's motivation. I mean, there wasn't I mean, Superman's motivation to want to to hate Batman was just bad. It was so hypocritical. I mean, he didn't like Batman because he was above the law and he was killing people, and you know, Superman is above the law, and he's killed a lot of people who were innocent as well, as we saw during some of the early scenes of this movie with his fight with General Zod. He killed a lot of innocent people, and although he didn't mean to, the people that Batman is killing are people that are bad and probably deserve it. So, Superman's motivation to dislike Batman in this movie was, it just didn't make any sense at all. It was super hypocritical. But to be fair, when he did confront Batman, at first he was trying to, talk things out. He didn't go there to fight him. He went there to talk things out with him. So, moving on from the Superman motivations not being very good, something else I didn't like about this movie was um, the scene where Batman and Superman, Batman was about to kill Superman, and then Superman says, "No, wait, save Martha." And then Batman's like, "Why did you say that name?" And he's like, "Save Martha." And then Batman just keeps saying, like, "Why did you say that name?" And then Lois Lane comes in out of nowhere, and she's like, "It's his mother's name. It's his mother's name." And then Batman just, like, rethinks his entire life right there, and then throws the spear. It just didn't make any sense at all. I mean, why would Superman say, "Save Martha"? Like, why wouldn't he say, "Save my mother"? I don't know why he would use his mother's first name in that scenario. Um, but I mean, their parents having their mothers having the same name. I guess it's like, I think it should just be a coincidence, and that's about it. I don't really think that that was a good way to, you know, connect the two after their giant battle with each other. They probably could have used something else. Maybe he could have muttered something else. I don't really know what because I'm not a writer, but I do know bad writing, and this is a good example of it. So that scene was dumb. Also, I felt like the scene where Lex Luthor was, creating Doomsday was kind of like, I feel like that wouldn't really happen. I feel like they wouldn't just give Lex Luthor access to an alien's body as well as an alien spaceship in exchange for some kryptonite. I feel like that's not really something that somebody who is, like part of the government would do. But it happened, and I guess Doomsday was created from that. It would have made more sense, especially with the politics side of the movie, the political side of the movie, to have the government make Doomsday as a backup just in case Superman went evil and as a defense against Superman. It would have made so much more sense if Lex Luthor was working with the government against Superman and he helped to create Doomsday, and then Doomsday broke out and then fought Superman and tried to destroy the world. That would have made so much more sense, but instead it was all Lex Luthor, and the way that he did it just didn't really make much sense. So I feel like there was a lot of wasted potential there. But yeah, that's about it. Also, something that I forgot to mention that I really liked about this scene was the warehouse fight scene with Batman. That scene was so awesome. That was the best Batman fight scene that I've ever seen, hands down. And it's probably, well, I'll just say it, it's one of the best superhero fight scenes that I've ever seen in any movie ever. Live action, comic, cartoon, PS4 video game cutscene, you name it. That was one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen from any superhero on any media. It was just an amazing fight scene. I thought it was really cool how it showed Batman's toughness and, like how awesome Batman is. It was a really great fight scene, and I could probably just go on and on about that one scene, like do a deep dive analysis on it, but I'll just say that it was great, and I really liked that Batman warehouse fight scene. I have to YouTube it occasionally just to remind myself how good it was. But yeah, as a final grade for this movie, I'm going to give it a C plus. And giving it that grade kind of hurts because this movie had so much potential, especially, like if they had just fixed Lex Luthor's character, if they had just made him work with the government to create Doomsday, if they had just fixed that scene where Batman and Superman, connect with each other and, stop fighting. If they had fixed those things, if they had changed up a few more things and just kept that movie on the same political storyline instead of just dumping it after the first half, it could have been like a really, really good movie. It could have been a masterpiece of a movie, and I certainly think that it had the potential to be like an A- movie, which is an insane score on the Moo Review scale, but it has to settle for a C plus because it just kind of was all over the place. And yeah, it's with a heavy heart that I give it a C plus, but it's not like a terrible movie. After watching it, I would still recommend it, but it just could have been so much better. And yeah, that's my review on this movie. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.